going on, you guys? It's your boy Posted from the Beemer Fam, back at it again. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to talk about what it's like to be black in America and drive a BMW, from my point of view and from my experiences. Disclaimer, I will not speak for all black people or all people in general, as I am just speaking to my experiences. If you guys like this kind of content, let me know in the comment section below. Write a topic for me to talk about if you have any topics you want me to go over. Before we get into it all, remember I'm doing the 1K subscriber giveaway, so follow the directions in the description below, and there will be a link as well to follow. If you guys like the content we make here at Beemer Fam, make sure you take a second real quick and click that subscribe. That helps us out a lot. Since February is Black History Month, we're going to dive in with a little bit of history before we get into my stories. As most of you guys, if not all of you guys know, America has been riddled with racism and discrimination from the start. There have been a lot of inhumane and horrific treatments of people of color and black people in general throughout history, from in-your-face racism like the KKK or slavery to institutional racism, which I guess slavery still falls under that, but also redlining and other institutional constructs you guys can learn about at a different time. This is not for this video. I'm just giving you guys a little backstory into why some of these people who I talk about act the way they do. So let's start back when I was 16. I got my first car from my father, which was a 1998 E39 528, had the 540 Sport Pack on it. Amazing car. I was so excited to start driving that thing around. My dad had driven it for years beforehand, so it already felt like a part of the family that I was just taking over. And I'd be able to spread my freedom wings at 16, you know? You want to get out the house and start driving around. Especially as a BMW guy, I was ecstatic. I had a classic car already, you know, it was 10 years old, but who cares? The E39 is 20 years old now, and it's still a timeless classic. So I was through the roof, ready to get it, ready to go see my friends, you know, drive around, do the usual teen thing. But I wish I would have been told from the beginning the kind of attention that I would get as being a black male driving nicer cars, said BMWs. So my first instance was when I was 16. It was about a month after I got my license. I was going to a friend's house to play the new Gears of War. I was about 2 blocks away from his house when I get flashed by a cop car. So this being my first time dealing with a cop in a car driving, you know, alone, I was kind of scared. I was a little shook, but I remember what I was taught, to be respectful and be polite, and thankfully I actually had already been read up on a lot of laws and citizen laws at that, so I kind of knew what I could say, what I couldn't say. The man comes up to my window, asks for license and registration. I ask him, what's going on? Why am I getting pulled over? He says, I heard there's a stolen car in the area. So I'm like, oh, okay, like how does this apply to me specifically? But I didn't ask. I gave him my information, let him run it, let the process handle itself. About 15 minutes of sweating later, he comes back up to me, goes, here you go. Thank you. You're lucky this time. I'm like, and before I could even turn all the way around, the man had walked all the way back to his car and was flashing me to leave. I'm like, all right, so I'm trying not to read too deep into it. I'm young. I'm in a nicer car. I could see why maybe he would pull me over. But then again, I don't see random people getting pulled over like that. So my brain kind of goes to work on that. And, you know, at that time, I was just like, whatever, dude. You know, I got off and did nothing happen. So I just went to my friend's house and played it like nothing else happened. That was my first instance. This was not the first time I had experienced racism. I've experienced racism since I can really remember, since elementary school. People calling me my, you know, different skin colors, or calling me different names, or asking me, why is that your mom? Because my mom is white, my dad is black. People don't understand that. I mean, you can actually be mixed, I guess. People don't understand that. It's just hard for them to hear. So I won't go into all that today, but this definitely was not my first time, nor will it be my last time dealing with racism. My next instance was a few months after that. Fast forward probably 9 months or so, and it was the beginning of summer. It was probably about May. I was almost 17 at the time. My brothers at the time were, I believe, 13 and 12 or 14 and 13, something around there. We were walking back to the car from a fair, and as soon as we get in the car, get in, shut the door, turn on the ignition, car boots up, immediately I look in the rearview mirror and there are cop lights. So I'm like, all right, boys, just calm down, we'll just talk to them. One cop comes up on my side, the other cop comes up on the passenger side. I asked him, officer, why are we getting stopped here? We haven't even moved out the parking spot yet. He goes, we're looking for a couple suspicious people we heard were in the area. Once again, alright, I guess we're a group of 3 guys. Young, but I guess 3 guys. So I tried to rationalize. This is the problem. I was really trying to rationalize, what is their intent? There has to be a good reason why we're getting stopped. No. As the guy asked me for my information, the other cop starts shining through the car with his flashlight, looking at everybody's feet and in the doors, and he shines the light on my brother Eric in the back. You guys remember those sandals, those Crocs, right? Well, Eric had some Crocs on, and I guess he had slipped them off in the back. I don't know, they're shoes. They're not even shoes, they're sandals. Anyway, the guy asks, why are his shoes off in the back? I'm like, I don't know, ask him. So he asked Eric why his shoes off in the back. Eric, literally 12 or 13 years old, literally just told him, my feet were hot. So they're sitting there, doing all this. While this is happening, another cop car pulls up with the lights on. So I'm sitting here really okay, are we all about to go to jail tonight? We didn't do anything except for get into the car. Now we have 2 cop cars deep on us, and I am scared. After all this started happening, the cops that were here went back to the other car and started talking. It took probably another 20-25 minutes for them to come back and say, alright, you guys can go. No further explanation, nothing like that. They just let us go. At this time, I'm still pretty young, At this time, I'm taught the cops are here to help you. The cops are always going to be looking out for your best interest. Just comply, do what they say. We're going to fast forward from my next quick story. It took place 2014. I had just graduated college at University of Michigan. I went to the BMW dealership, bought a 2011 328 X-Drive. Really nice car, all black. I had put black rims on it, put splitter on it. Really did my own with it and was very proud of that car. So of course, I wasn't thinking about anything. I was just thinking about how happy I was to be in the car, be driving a newer Beamer. I had financed it myself, so I was feeling on top of the world. The place I worked at was an advertising company. I was putting in over 50 hours a week at that job. So, I was making my money, but I was spending a lot of time at the same time. People had the audacity at work to ask me, how did you get that car? What did you have to do for that car? And thinking these are just regular questions, I'm like, there's a college program with BMW and the University of Michigan, help me finance and get my rates down, blah, blah, blah. Try to give them some good information. Well, the same people who happen to be Caucasian start saying things like, oh, well, you don't deserve that car. That car is too nice for you. That black kid doesn't deserve to be in that car. Literally out of nowhere. Or I would overhear people saying this like they can't be heard. So I tried to take the higher road. I didn't address it. I didn't play into it. And honestly, that is the best road to go. As much as people want to be confrontational and bring it up to people, if these people are saying these kinds of things, 9 times out of 10 what you say does not matter. It's going to fall on deaf ears, and they're going to continue on with their thought process. Now, unfortunately, these kinds of remarks were not held to just this place of work. Unfortunately, when I bought my E92 M3 back in 2016, I was working at a different institution, but I had similar result. This time, it was 3 black ladies who were probably 5-10 years older than me. I was about 23, I think I was 24 at the time. These ladies would ask me almost every time I saw them, What kind of car is that? BMW M3. What year is that car? 2008. How did you get that car? I bought it. You must be doing something. Like, huh? Yeah, I'm working. Yeah, I work 2 jobs. No, you must be doing something else. No, I work 2 jobs. I work 60 hours a week. I go from this job, literally in 20 minutes, race across town to my other job that I work till 8. No, you must be selling drugs or something. Literally every time I saw him, this happened probably 4 times. To me, this is the most messed up part. As people of color and black community, we go through a lot of similar discrimination and hatred. This is why I did not understand why these ladies were coming at me this way. If anything, they should have been proud or happy to see a younger, successful black male doing his thing. But instead, they chose the hate route and the stereotyping route. So this really pissed me off. Now at this point, it was getting really regular to roll up to, people at the stoplight or people next to me in traffic and have my window down, music playing, and people who happen to be white, I'm not saying all of them do this, but some people who happen to be white will look at me and just give me a dead-ass look, or they'll look at me and just shake their head. And I'm sitting here like, what is the problem? Like, why do you feel the need to take the time out of your life? I just don't understand why people would take the time to think these kinds of thoughts, look at a person in the car and just think, wow, what a shame. They shouldn't be in that car. That car is too nice for him. How does he get that car? It's completely unbelievable to me, and it's disgusting. I've had people at car meets come up to me, ask me if my M3 is real, ask me all kinds of questions about it, and then say, oh, well, you probably don't know how to drive stick, or something like that. Just something completely degrading. I've overheard a person at the car meet say, yeah, some black guy owns the M3, what a waste. It really just never ends. The final story I will share with you for today happened in 2017. I was taking one of my friends around for his first ride ever in an E92 M3. We went and drove around the town. We went down by the lake. Down by the lake is a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. So we pull up to the stoplight to turn left off of the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit onto a road that's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. And when we got to the light, it was green. So we turned left at about 30 miles an hour. As soon as I'm turning, flashed right at the corner. Alright, here we go. So, I get comfortable. Because at this point, I've already dealt with cops enough so that I really just kick back and just start chatting with these kids. They walk up to the car and they say, do you know why we're stopping you? I said, no, officer, I do not. Would you like to enlighten me? You guys were speeding. No, sir, we were not. We were turning left. Well, you were doing like 34 and a 30. I said, sir, we were doing 30 when we were turning. He goes, well, I'm going to need to just see your license registration. I gave him license, registration, proof of insurance. Go take it. Took him about 10, 15 minutes. Took a while. He came back. He goes, you know this is insured to a Dodge Caravan, right? I said, sir, no one in our family drives a Dodge Caravan. Our name is the Beemer Fam. So at this point, I told him to go run it again. He goes, runs it again. Takes him about 5 minutes, quick. Oh yeah, everything came back right this time. Must have been a glitch in the system. You're lucky I don't write you up for tints. At this point, my windows are down. They have been down all day because we were riding and listening to the car. So I kind of just shrugged at that. He continued on to give me a ticket for 34 and a 30. Great job, officer. Great job. When it comes to the cops, I guess the moral of the story is, be respectful, be mindful, but know your rights. Don't just fold, and don't just give in. Know what they can do and know what they can't do, because they will try to strong-arm you if they think you're an open target. That being said, I'm not an open target. When it comes to regular people hating, Just be calm, respectful, kill them with kindness, and on top of that, flex on them. Things are getting better here in America. They are. The normal person does not think harsh things like this. They are very nice, very understanding, very accepting of other points of view. It's just very difficult when you are faced with people who would rather judge you by the content of your skin and stereotypes rather than the education that you hold or the kind of work effort or demeanor you have. We have a lot of people out there who really want to help, who really want to understand these kinds of perspectives and get rid of this kind of bullying and negativity in the world. That being said, these were only my stories from being a BMW driver. I have other stories about other cars, other people, other situations, but I didn't feel they were applicable to this video. If you guys want me to talk more about these kind of topics, or any topic really, if you guys like this kind of content, let me know in the comment section below. Comment what kind of topic you want me to cover, any questions you have, any questions you want me to cover, and yeah, we might make this a series. Per usual, make sure you guys subscribe and drop a like, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.